Democrats were fuming after the White House postponed two briefings about those U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear program. A briefing is now scheduled to take place tomorrow for senators and on Friday for members of the House. The top Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, Mark Warner of Virginia, told All Things Considered last night he has a lot of questions.
What next if you don't take them out all on the first strike? What are the next steps? How do we make sure that there's not Iran racing now to a dirty bomb? These are questions that we, and frankly, the American people deserve answers to.
Let's hear from another lawmaker on one of the Intelligence Committees, Congressman Mike Quigley of Illinois. He's a Democrat and serving on the House Intelligence Committee. Good morning, Congressman. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you.
So you heard Senator Warner's questions. Do you have any others?
I think they have to own up to the fact that the truth matters. Just the fact that the president's ego may be dinged by the fact that his initial statements weren't correct, it really doesn't matter. You got to put your ego in your pocket. You have to face the threats as they exist, not as the president's ego maintains.
Have you heard, or do you have any visibility yourself into the extent of the damage done to Iran's nuclear capabilities?
Look, I've been briefed on this as a member of the Intel Committee. We're going to get another briefing Friday morning before the full House gets briefed. And the fact that things may have been leaked doesn't mean that they're not still classified. But what I can say is, look, I've been on the committee 8 years. These strikes are very difficult to evaluate, especially in a denied area. It takes time. These are difficult, hard targets. They're mobile targets. To say they were obliterated before any analysis is fanciful and frankly dangerous. And the IAEA also, beyond saying there were 900 pounds, they said there's probably 30 sites. So what I tried to do was just to make this bipartisan and honest. A senator and Chairman McCall said, I've been briefed on this plan in the past, and it was never meant to completely destroy the facilities, but rather cause significant damage. It was always known to be a temporary setback. Well, I'll add to that. I've been briefed on this many, many times, this kind of plan on an unclassified basis as well. It was also clear that you were never going to end this program unless you have troops on the ground, and that means a war. So by abandoning diplomacy and the fact that Iran was in compliance before, the president has, in fact, made the situation more dangerous.
Gosh, I have so many questions that we don't have time to answer here, but I was wondering why you think there's such a discrepancy between the administration's version of events and those of the intelligence community. And was it the administration's objective to obliterate the nuclear program? It sounds to me like you're saying, from what you understand, that just would never have been the case.
What I'm saying is you don't have to read any leaked report or believe that it exists or not. You just know that you cannot obliterate the program with simple missile strikes. And that's what we have acknowledged all along. So what we're facing here is a president, and why we're in this situation, he refuses to ever admit that he's wrong. He wants to be able to say, this is all over and let's move on. It's not that neat. And when you try to do what the president is doing, you put us in a more dangerous situation because we're not dealing with the true threat. A real threat that has to be addressed. It was addressed before diplomatically. It was working, and it's his fault we are now in this situation.
So what would you like to see now? We have about a minute left here. What does the U.S. need to do now, in your opinion?
Look, a true assessment, and in the final analysis, we have to move back to diplomacy. There's a lot of things that can move us toward that. Iran is in a weakened state, as are their proxies. Now is the time to push again for diplomacy. It's the only thing that's ever worked. It's the only thing that will work.
That is Congressman Mike Quigley of Illinois. He is a Democrat, and he's a member of the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman Quigley, thanks so much for sharing these insights with us.
Thank you.
And I do want to mention that NPR reached out to multiple Republican members of the House and Senate, including those on the intelligence committees, who either declined to be interviewed or did not respond.